Well, I thought my next video would be the System Shock 2 analysis. This is kinda weird. However, I wanted to make a quick and scrappy video on this topic, because recently I saw in a Facebook group I participate in that someone posted a link to a page for Warner Brothers Playtesting, a form you can fill out in order to be part of a randomly selected pool who get to come in and playtest a game after you sign a non-disclosure agreement. From what I understand, in exchange, they give you a voucher for one of the publisher's games for free, which is pretty expected. What I didn't expect were the hostile reactions from people claiming that WB is trying to get people to do salaried work for free, and this is putting QA testers out of a job. Though to be fair, there were people there as well who already knew why this was false. And normally I just leave a couple comments clarifying things and move on, but part of the stated goals on this channel were to communicate that game design, and in particular level design, is serious work that requires a lot of skill. However, playtesting and bug testing are two important parts of the design process, so I think they're tangentially relevant, and I'd kind of feel weird if I didn't emphasize the labor involved in those roles as well. So I don't mean to make this molehill into a mountain, and I don't want to single out any person or shame anyone for not knowing this ahead of time, but
bug testing and playtesting are not the same thing. Why are people angry about this? Oh dear God.
It's right there in the names. Bug testers test for bugs, while playtesters test for play? Okay, we'll clarify that in a bit. Bug testing is also synonymous with QA, short for quality assurance. You're actually assuring the quality of the game. And I don't speak about this from some distanced perspective. I worked for a summer as a QA tester at Vicarious Visions, helping work on a favorite among the hardcore crowd, Skylander Superchargers. Yeah, psh, 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 yeah, take that, Dive Clops, voiced by Maurice LaMarche.
And I don't mean a little bit on the side of the plate. They fucking drown them in it.
Basically, though, my day went like this. Wake up at 4:45 in the morning and be sure to get out the door by 5:20 because it was a 35-minute walk from my apartment. I'd then get in the door by 6, boot up my computer, and start downloading the current build of the game, then attend the morning meeting at 6:15. During that, we gave progress updates and got assigned tasks, but usually we started with the morning sweep. This involved me working with 2 other people to play through the game in chunks to make sure all the levels loaded properly, as well as check the side missions in order to make sure there weren't any crashes. Typically after that, we went around in the game hunting for bugs and writing them up, as well as any we encountered in the sweep, into a central database. And we did this Monday to Friday from 6 to 6, a whole 12 hours. And then I had to walk home another 35 minutes, though sometimes like Jeff would drive by and give me a lift, and then he ended up working at Blizzard for a while I went back to college. You're a true American, Jeff. But we did all this for $10 an hour, and while 12 hours a day was as bad as it got, this was the routine for almost a month, and right before that it was 10 hours a day. Bug testing is serious work, and it's not very rewarding, but it's very important. Playtesting is also very important, but it's very different. Basically, at some point in development, when the team wants to figure out how well the game is coming together, they put out a notice that they're conducting a playtest session, and get some random people in to play a particular segment of the game. They're there for a few hours, they typically answer a survey afterward, and then they're sent back out into the wild. I want a Batman game, here, take it. Like I covered in the last video, games try to teach you how to play the game through the game itself, and most often playtests are trying to find out how effective this is for a game halfway through development. They're also probably checking for things like pacing, player containment, navigability, and other things. The thing is, though, that experiencing a tutorial in a game a second time isn't going to be as effective as the first, and as such, you can't really have a playtester play more than once, at least for a single-player game. As such, it makes sense to get new people every time, which is why playtester isn't an hourly position. You'll also notice, though, that at no point does the playtester get asked about what ideas they have for the game, because that's not what the development team is looking for. This is going to sound harsh, but generally speaking, the industry doesn't care about your ideas, and they're probably not that well thought out in the first place. I'm sorry to break it to you. They might incorporate your idea if it is smart and it's really early in the development cycle, as in a bunch of gray blocks moving around early, but the closer the game looks like it is to being finished, the less likely they're going to change anything about the gameplay. This is also pretty much true for QA testers. Your ideas probably aren't going to go very far. But the thing is, I'm wondering why this conflation of these two roles exist, and why people think it's just playing games for fun. Design has had this issue for a while. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that infamous tighten up the graphics on level 3 ad, but that's pretty old, and I think things are starting to change now that more people are more seriously analyzing and discussing what goes into creating a game. People are more aware that design is an involved discipline, even if they don't necessarily know what goes into it exactly. For testing, though, this image problem apparently still exists. This show definitely didn't cause these issues, but The Tester, a reality TV show put out by Sony where people compete for a bug testing position, really feeds this perception. They keep hyping up bug testing as this thing where you get to tell all the designers what you think would make the game better, and that they're looking for people who play games the best. Having been in that role before, though, watching this is really gross. Like, Sony is stringing people along in this Big Brother style of production, but instead of giving people a cash reward at the end, they're giving them a $10 an hour entry-level job. Well, they're in LA, so it's probably like, I don't know, $15 an hour? That's a Bernie wage right there. But the thing is, they're also miscommunicating what the position entails, and deliberately so. So they're setting the winner up for failure, or at the least, severe disappointment.
This sucks, because I want this really bad.
Seriously, the first season finale ends with a competition to see who can play through a level of Uncharted the fastest.
I'm pretty far behind at this point. I skip the enemies. I just try to bum rush because I know I'm short on time.
Oh, he's running right into a firefight.
This is fucking heinous. By the way, I don't say this out of some love for Warner Brothers. I don't think I've played a game published by them to date. To be fair, though, I spent a semester in Montreal where one of our professors was a programmer at WB Montreal. He swore a lot and quoted the Lego Movie a bunch, so obviously I liked him. But I don't have a problem criticizing WB's games. I used footage of Arkham Knight in my last video when talking about bad performance for a reason. There's a lot of terrible business practices that publishers get involved in these days, but this ain't one of them. This is really normal. But given that both bug testing and playtesting involve playing a game for an extended period of time, I guess I can see why people think they're the same thing. But if you're watching this, please understand, they involve being played for very different reasons.